back to another episode of the Ready Set podcast. My name's Ricky.
My name's Angus.
I'm Derek, and we're joined again by Ray.
We have a very spicy topic today, and it's about what's the most ideal woman out there. Like, what really just catches a guy's eye?
Right, and
like,
Ray, answer that for us, please.
yes, because she has all the answers right now. We were talking it behind the scenes, and we're like, yo, this topic here really can relate to a lot of people.
Well,
I'm just kidding. Okay.
Well,
I'm on my job.
Angus is gonna get a letter from HR on
Yeah.
Monday,
Oh, no.
and then he's gonna be like,
Packing a box is at my desk. I sit there, I'm like, what's that box? It's for you.
oh no.
"You know what you did."
You'd be like,
Oh no.
oh, it's my podcast, isn't it? Like, yeah, we saw everything.
Oh no.
But you were talking about there is a most ideal Japanese woman, right? Like these, like what is it?
So
What is this?
Now we're scared of, but what is it?
yeah. Well, they say that it's like, obviously it comes from stems from history. So it's more of like, take it as a grain of salt kind of deal.
Yeah.
But they do say the most ideal Japanese woman is somebody that can hit three components.
Okay.
So one is of the culture. So
Okay.
one is calligraphy, so shodo. And then the second one is sado, which is flower arrangements, so like bonsai, or ikebana. I think more so ikebana. And then the third one is chado, which is tea ceremony. So if you're able to hit all three components, most likely you're the most well-rounded, ideal Japanese woman.
Like very traditional.
Traditional, yeah.
Do you think those standards are still kind of applied today? Like at
modern day?
least, probably not in the Western culture, of course, but like if you were to say if you went back to Japan,
Yeah.
do you think that those three would be what the guys over there would be kind of more looking towards? I kind of doubt it, but I was like, it kind of doesn't hurt to ask because I'm not really too familiar with how the Japanese
Culture.
like the culture standards are like right over there.
I mean, sometimes I don't know myself when I go back, but what I've heard that it probably has been dying down over the years just because it's not too traditional anymore. I do find that there is still like men that prefer like a traditional female, but I think it's been modernized over the years.
Yeah.
So I would say that, people still do it if they wanted, if they're interested. All the senseis, the teachers that teach these are all passed down by generation to generation. So I hope that they'll still have those offerings.
Yeah.
But just because a female has not done it doesn't mean that they're not ideal though. Right?
Nice save. Yeah.
Yeah. But it's just a saying.
yeah.
Like, have you done those three things? Like, are you good at?
I've done calligraphy with my mom, obviously, because she's the master Japanese calligrapher. But I suck.
Okay.
The tea ceremony, I don't have the proper equipment because you need like the hot water like holder, like the napkin to wipe the teacup, like that kind of stuff. I don't have that, but I'm pretty confident with my whisk.
Okay. I mean, I'm sure you could
like
buy
the Japanese whisk.
I'm sure you could buy that off Temu, right, Derek?
Oh yeah, definitely. I can't vouch for its authenticity slash
Made in China.
quality.
Quality.
You get it, you're just holding it, starts cracking in your hand.
Oh,
You're like,
jeez.
oh, okay.
And then the
And
last
then
one
the
is
flower arrangements.
flower.
No, I suck.
So flower arrangements, is it like a bouquet kind of thing? Like
Like a vase?
Yeah. So imagine like a vase,
Yeah.
and then you have like these spiky like nails that are in the vase. It's
Okay.
like it's like sold separately. It's like a plate of like spikes, and then you have like your own like bunch of flowers, and then depending on how you want to arrange it, you can like stick the stem into the spikes so that it stands.
Oh, so is it kind of
Yeah.
like the thing we saw at Tony's wedding? Where there's like it's like a styrofoam and then you're kind of putting it.
Yeah, similar to that.
Kinda like
but
that,
not the
like a wedding?
styrofoam, but yeah, that's more of like spikes instead.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
so it's very nice. Like, so you stick all the stems in it, and then there's like a way of doing it. Apparently, it's like 2-dimensional, 3-dimensional, the symmetry. It really depends on like what type of. It's pretty much art.
Yeah,
Another
yeah.
form of art.
Nice balance when it comes to the
Exactly.
So are the flowers real, or are they like somehow preserved, or?
Oh no, it has to be real.
It has to be
Real
real.
flowers.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I was thinking some flower arrangements, like when you do them, like some people like buy like the dried flowers, or which is like the, I guess, somewhat preserved kind. Or the other ones are like, they're like, sometimes there's the fake ones too, where you can like, you can bend them however you like, so that you can fit it into like a certain angle and all that.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, so they're all real.
Yeah, I think the concept is that the reason why they're real is because it's like live art.
Yeah.
I think that's what the concept comes from. Yeah.
And it can't be preserved. Like this is the prime time to kind of enjoy it, kind of thing, I guess.
Yeah.
How long do they last though? Like, because I like when you buy like those fresh bouquets of flowers, you like cut the stems and you put it in the water, and maybe like a couple of days later they start all kind of wilting away.
I would probably say like a few days or at most maybe a week, depending on how well you sort of arrange the flowers. Yeah, and also the species, I believe, of the flowers itself. Yeah.
How good are you and Derek? Your arrangements.
We'll have to do a recording on that one day. Make
Do it live.
yeah, do a live flower live flower
Yeah.
arrangement. Is he like 1, 2, 3? And you see all
Have you done it before?
No, I did help my friend do, because I was part of the bridal party, right? So I did help my friend do those bouquet arrangements for each of the tables at the reception.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
No.
And that one was that was a lot of work. I'm just gonna say because they had all those wires, and then we had to like wrap them around sort of like the base kind of deal, and then so like, of course they had like a design for you to follow, so then everyone just kind of like worked like a factory setting. It's like, grab this flower, wrap it around here, grab this flower, wrap it around here.
So you do have experience.
I mean, if one wedding counts, I guess.
I think say that's more experience than me, because I just buy my flowers from like Whole Foods, like a bouquets, and then obviously trim off the bottom and then stick it on a vase, right? But I know you have experience, Angus.
Yeah, I worked at a floral shop before.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, it's a summer job.
Oh.
We like shipped it to like Safeway, like Save-Ons. It's just like those giant bouquets that you get.
Yes.
It was, man, I got sick so many times when I was there. Because it was like peak summer, right? So it's hot. And then you go in the fridge and it's cold and you're constantly going in and out. And then I think I got food poisoning because I was, it's like a place in, I don't think they exist anymore, but it's like a family's business. So, you're eating there.
Oh, I see.
Next to the chemicals. They have pesticides and, or is it?
Of course.
Oh.
Preservatives.
Yeah, preservatives,
right?
yeah. So like one of my food, because you sit
Just up in the
anywhere.
air.
You just grab a bucket, put it on the ground, and you just eat like those,
Oh.
like you're in a village.
Yeah.
So most likely I got sick because of that, because I was just, flowers
Yeah.
everywhere.
So much cross contamination.
Yeah, exactly. And I got sick, but it was a good skill.
good.
Learn how to make bouquets,
Wow.
Yeah.
arrangements.
You ever get in those special requests? A guy comes in, he's like, can you make this bouquet for my girlfriend? And he's like
No.
specifying how you wants it. You're
No,
like,
I
oh,
do-
come on, man.
No, we just did it for like the big stores. Yeah,
They
like
could
some.
do it.
Sometimes they would come and pick up,
Yeah.
but mostly it was just like cut them up. Arrange it, wrap in a bouquet, and then like cut it and then put it in a vase. Yeah, so that's all I did.
Oh, so you're part of the mass production line.
Yeah, and then when you have to do like roses too, there's so many thorns. You have to like
Shave it off.
yeah, shave it off.
Oh,
Got
you
so-
have to shave it off.
Yeah. Sometimes sometimes they do come with all of it shaved off, but sometimes they don't.
Oh,
So like, and sometimes they don't do a good job shaving it off. So then you get cut. So of course you can't like leave that in there,
yeah.
right? Because then customers complain. So you kind of have to do that. But it was fun. Good
Oh,
learning
thank you for
experience.
shaving our stems.
No problem. My bloody light fingers was all over those bouquets. It's like child labor. It was high school too.
Oh.
I needed to do it for
Work experience.
work experience
Wow.
to graduate.
Yeah.
When they had that planning 10 thing.
Oh.
It doesn't exist
wow.
anymore, but you needed like 30 hours or something.
Community service or
Yeah, to
actual work
graduate.
experience.
I remember that.
Yeah.
In grade 12, they renamed it to Human Services. I don't know
no
why.
Wow.
But I actually, rather than work experience, is volunteering. So
Oh,
maybe
yeah.
they changed it. Yeah.
So
I
like
did-
not
I did
actual
work.
jobs don't count anymore.
No,
do they?
I don't think so.
Oh,
They did
Really? I
back
think
then.
it might be child labor or something.
child labor experience is what it is.
They want you to willingly give up your hours for no pay.
Yeah, exactly. I'd rather get paid.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it was really okay. So back to the ideal woman.
Oh.
Okay, so is there anything that's ideal for
Oh, the guy.
for the guys?
For the
like
guy?
for the guys
Like
to
in
do a
Japan
certain
or
yeah,
whatever
in
the
Japan.
cultural.
in Japan, yeah.
In Japan?
Like
Oh.
anything that, you know, I know you got the flower arrangements, the calligraphy,
The
and
tea
The tea.
Mhm.
Is there something that the guy has to bring over, you know,
to the table.
to the table? Yeah.
Well, I think Japanese men in Japan versus the ones here are very different, right?
Okay.
So then I feel like, because I know some, I have some friends from there, and I find that right now they always choose a personality now rather than like, but you know, no offense, a lot of Japanese females, they tend to be really quiet. They don't really speak their mind. It's like the typical Asian way of doing things.
Yeah.
So they prefer that. And then some men still are traditional to the fact that they would rather have a housewife. And then the female doesn't work. But I've seen on YouTube as well that that's been changing, like that trend. So females, it's okay for the female to work now and then have a family and then work at, like a working family. So, but yeah, I just feel like overall it's really preference. Like it's really hard to choose, right?
But for like a traditional, there's the three things for the women in Japan, like in the, let's say like the 1600s or whatever it is. So what about like back then for the guy? Did they have anything that they had to do to be the ideal man?
It's like
Ideal
it's like they have to
man.
shoot a bow straight through a target. So the right through.
That could be one.
Oh,
I don't know if
I don't know.
I
if
don't
there is one.
know. I mean, I've only heard that, you know, as long as the male like
money,
supports, brings the money, like
Yeah.
they're the breadwinner. That was definitely the traditional mindset back then. I mean, it probably still is to this day for some people who are influenced by that. Obviously, you know, being in the Western world, I don't really believe that anymore.
So, okay, so would you be okay if you're in a relationship, so your boyfriend, so would you be okay if your boyfriend's like, hey, I want to be a stay-home dad, and you work, and I'll take care of everything. Like I'll clean, I'll even be topless, and I'll cook for you. All right? I'll vacuum.
He'll
I'll
take care of
care
the baby.
kids, I'll go grocery shopping. You come home, I take your shoes off. You know, I got all that stuff.
wow.
Like, would you be like, okay?
If he makes a really good bath for me, maybe.
whoa.
Oh,
And if I-
He'll make his own bath bombs for you. How
Yes,
about that?
bath bombs. I
He
love
goes to
bath
Lush,
bombs.
and he's
Yes,
like,
I love Lush.
I'm taking courses to make my woman happy.
Oh my gosh, yeah. I mean, if I made a lot of money for both of us,
Yeah,
but you know, obviously during these times, like that's really hard now.
it's hard.
It's
Yeah.
no
Everyone has like a
longer-
second job too. Like
Yeah,
it's not your side hustle.
yeah.
yeah.
It's like,
so
it's like no
difficult.
longer like the male is a breadwinner anymore,
Yep.
right? Like if anything, both couples might need to work now.
Yep.
Yeah.
So
Would you say that's like also true in Japan? Like, cause over here, like our inflation just went crazy. Like everything just got
Yeah.
boosted up, like in like you say, like, and so like Vancouver, I always feel like is Vancouver, Toronto, all the really big cities are always like everybody looks at them, but when you go like say we went a province over to Alberta, it's like the same salary gets you so much more because the cost of living is so much lower, right? Would you say that breadwinner mentality for just like one person being the breadwinner, do you think it's able to be applied to Japan right now? Because like I guess other than Tokyo, I don't know too much about like what life is outside of the other
cities?
in the cities. Yeah.
again, it really depends on like your income as well, right?
Mhm.
But I would see, I do see that I think there's more couples that are both working. Honestly, yeah. And you know, obviously Asia's a lot more stressful. Oh, I mean, we're all stressed out, honestly. but
That's why
more
we take
pressure.
vacations.
But I think they take less vacation than we do.
Mm.
So I would say that because they're in a really stressful environment, you know, you always hear about like the low birth rates, right?
Oh,
And
right. Yeah.
I think it honestly comes down to survival too. So maybe both incomes are not making enough to have like a full family
Yeah.
with children, right?
Yeah.
So
And there's like the overworking culture.
Yes.
You know, there's so much OT.
so I think we're shifting towards not so much one breadwinner anymore. Yeah.
And I was trying to think back to like, you know, what it would have been like in China. And I still don't really know. Like it might be actually pretty similar. Like being right, it might have been dance though for for like anything artistic,
Yeah.
Really?
or some sort of instrument. Because I was
Play the
Oh,
Chinese
yeah.
piano.
that's what I'm thinking. I was like, I'm trying to think back to all the dramas I've watched, and I was like, usually it's between the three.
It's
right?
probably piano.
That's
why they make their kids play
they're
piano.
picking at the strings with
Yeah.
the item. Yeah, and I was like, oh yeah, that's definitely changed so much now. Do you feel
Is there any benefit?
is there any benefit to it? Yeah.
Well, I feel like any type of art, it would be very beneficial in my opinion.
Yeah.
Just because, everybody's stressed out. It's such a great de-stressor too. And then to be in touch with your culture as well, like you said, I think it's like amazing skill to have. Like any type of skill I find is always worth trying. Obviously if you suck, then, try harder
Or practice
either
more.
try harder or just give up.
I love that mentality. Like, I'm just not so good. Maybe you just gotta try hard.
There's your inner Asian coming out.
Have you thought about trying hard?
your roots.
It's not really asking.
You're like, how about not sucking? You're like, okay, that works too.
Thanks, that really helps. I will try my best.
Don't suck.
I'll try my best not to suck. I'll tell myself next time when I try. Oh man.
Yeah.
But I think for male, like we tend to there's a lot of we tend to stay with more of the traditional side, especially in Japan or even in Asia, right? Like they always look for more passive, like stay home wife, and they do all the work. I feel like that's such a common. I feel it's still a very common thing.
Probably still is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It might. I feel this is just my opinion, but I feel like it's more prevalent in smaller towns and cities,
Really?
rather than the big cities, because the big cities, like we talked about, the cost of living is so high that like even if a person wanted to, that unless they had the proper means to make that happen, it's just not a feasible thing, right? So, like
I was thinking more like the historical culture is better preserved in like the smaller cities or towns or whatever.
their traditions,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
But I feel like a lot of people are leaving those tiny little smaller towns, right? 'Cause
Yeah.
everyone's moving to the big city for like the big job.
Yep.
There's not much to do in the rural towns.
Yeah. Fun fact: there's actually, if you want to buy a house in Japan, you can for free.
Wait,
In
for
Japan.
free?
Oh, you just
Well,
have
they
moved
say
there
it's
or something.
free, but
It comes
you
with the
just have to
cash.
pay taxes.
oh, but that's like barely anything, right? Like
Yeah, it's
taxes,
barely
so-
anything. It's probably cost less than a down payment here.
Oh my god.
Yeah. So, but there's a
Wow.
lot of rebuilding to do because it's old homes, like back in the day, like
So-
samurai days.
Yeah. So I saw a video where this guy, you know those videos? He's like, hey, can I come to your home? Like,
Oh, yeah,
straight
that
off the
guy.
bat. And in my head, I'm like, man, when someone asks me that, it's a setup, right?
yeah,
but
yeah,
like,
yeah.
it's just so weird. I'm like, would I invite a random person to my home? But this person was living in Japan, and it was I don't know, he's like European, but he bought a home in Japan, and he like converted to more of a like, Swedish kind of theme,
Oh.
Oh.
high
okay.
ceilings.
Oh wow.
But the first thing, one thing I love to do is when I look at these videos, I always love looking at the comments.
Oh yeah.
That's like one of my favorite things to do. So, and the first thing when that guy said, "Oh yeah, I bought an abandoned home in Japan," the first thing that came to my mind was like The Grudge. Like, why would you buy an abandoned home?
Why would you buy a haunted house?
Like, it's abandoned for a reason.
Oh no.
Like, I don't know. Like, would you buy an abandoned home? Because I know you said there's a lot of homes that's like for free, right?
Yeah, it's
Basically, it's
abandoned.
like abandoned. Like,
Yeah.
would you buy a place?
And move in there like
Yeah,
permanently?
yeah. He moved in there permanently.
jeez.
And you're a digital nomad too.
Yeah, I love that lifestyle. Aren't you scared? Like, there's a reason why it's abandoned.
You know what? If it's a free home, let's do it.
You're sleeping with your eyes open all the time. What's that cry?
Is it with the talismans all over you? You're like, okay, there we go.
Can't pass up a good deal, right?
That's Derek.
The deal.
He sees something at night and he's like, I'll give it another try.
It's free.
It's free.
Half off.
I got haunted once. It's fine. The ghost will have another buddy.
Oh, man.
Roommates.
Yeah.
But you're saying it's like, it's free basically.
Yeah,
You just
and the
gotta pay
reason
tax.
the reason is because just to tear it down costs more money than to actually rebuild.
I I see.
So it's weird. The real estate here is more of like your house value increases, right? Every year. I mean, I hope so. But over there, it's actually the opposite. It's kind of like owning a pair of shoes. The value does go down every year.
Oh, but it's more in the rural areas.
No,
not in the,
most homes, yeah.
even
It doesn't
big cities?
increase. Yes.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
So
I thought it's
brand
only in
new,
the- I
right?
thought it was only in the rural area that it would go down. Oh, big cities, if you buy a home.
Anywhere.
It just
Yeah,
decreases like a
it's-
car.
It's a different culture, yeah.
Interesting.
Because I think the mentality over there is that whatever you buy, it should be new, right? And then
Oh.
because it's been used, the value goes down,
Oh,
which is weird because over here, like, real estate, although we
Yeah.
lived there for so long, it increases.
Yeah, you buy like a rickety old home here. It's like, yeah, here you go, 1.8 mil.
I thought, it would be, I thought the price would be you're buying the land. Or
Oh,
is-
no.
Yeah, that's how it is here, right? You're buying the
Yeah.
land, the house
Yeah.
comes with it.
Mhm.
Yeah, so I guess in Japan it's the same thing, but the value still goes down.
Yeah,
'cause
like,
it's being
yeah,
used.
the house, yes.
I wonder if it's like a sort of like a lease of the land rather than actually owning the property.
No, it's ownership as well.
The heck?
Wow.
Yeah.
Move to Japan.
Yeah.
Buy a place.
All
So
right.
you-
Well, our
but you-
next episodes will be in Japan.
Find an
In
abandoned
Japan.
home. We'll do a podcast in an abandoned home in Japan.
and our guest will be a ghost.
Don't say that.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
I don't know how that would work though. Would it?
I mean, some places probably might not have Wi-Fi, so be
Yeah.
aware of that.
Oh, I see. I see.
It's really hard to get
You're
internet.
actually like doing
So
stove
basically
wood.
like
you-
literally, yeah.
If you get murdered, no one's even gonna know.
Oh my god.
It's abandoned home, no Wi-Fi, no internet. You're like, okay, this is a great place to live.
In the mountains. Yeah.
Well, I mean, I guess whatever we can for a deal.
Well, Derek likes to
Always
do.
goes back to Derek.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I know for like, of course, with like modern dating now, is there more of a ideal? What's your ideal type? Like, of
Oh,
course.
for like males, right?
Yeah, for males. yeah.
Although I won't assume, but
Yeah.
but yeah, I prefer males. But I don't know. For me, I always choose the personality.
Mm.
I always think like, yes, I should be attracted to them too, but it's not number one since I always believe that everybody ages.
Yeah.
So, the looks will fade, but the personality would always be there.
Yeah.
And I like to consider myself like a, more blunt and like honest person. So I would expect the other person to be also honest.
Okay.
And genuine. And yeah, overall, I do like someone who works really hard, like where nothing's given to them.
Yeah.
And like those strong work ethics is what I value. Yeah.
So I know a lot of guys get confused when they're between genuine and being blunt and honest.
Oh,
and
yeah.
and then that comes off like that really grinds people's gears. You're like, I was just being honest.
Right.
Like I didn't do anything wrong. So I think
Right.
a lot of people can learn to be more like, what's the best balance for? Because it's very different
Yeah.
when like I'm being honest. Let's say I'm being honest with Ricky. We say it in a certain way, but when towards usually the opposite gender is usually you say it in a different way to come off less
Like an asshole.
yeah, like that, or mansplaining. I think that's the biggest thing is
Oh,
mansplaining,
yeah.
right?
I get that.
Yeah. So like, what's the for all those listeners out there?
Yeah.
What's the best way to explain if, let's say, they did something wrong, and what's
Wait, if you say if
Uh-oh.
they did something wrong, as in
if the male did something wrong, or they're trying to explain to you, try to be honest, or let's say
Yeah.
you messed up and they're trying to be honest, what's the best way to explain to you without causing a fight?
So then they're the ones who messed up, right?
Yeah,
Not
let's just
me.
say, yeah, example would be, yeah, they messed up, but then you're like, hey,
Yeah.
why did you do that? And he's like, oh, well,
Oh, like giving me like attitude.
yeah, but he's being
Yeah.
honest though. But
Right.
what's the best way to be honest without coming off like,
Right.
I'm such a, like I'm
asshole?
being mean, yeah.
For me, what I've established with my boyfriend at least is that try to phrase it nicely. Like
Okay.
I know
a lot
I
of guys
know-
don't know what that means.
I know that's really hard to explain. Yeah, for example, if they messed up, and then I'm mad at them for messing up something that affected me, then I also learned that I have to phrase it nicely. That hey, this thing really bothered me. And moving forward, like, can you do Like, where's the problem solving here? And then for them, because, obviously I've learned to do that because I always yelled.
Yeah.
So that was bad.
Okay.
So then obviously reaction to reaction, it's like a domino effect, right?
Yeah,
It's not going to go anywhere. So I felt like, so it's good that now the boyfriend now, if something bothers him, then just, well, to be fair, they stay quiet for a little bit to digest everything because I used to yell at him, right?
Calm down a little bit first.
It's kind of like
process.
give each other space. Before
Yeah,
you come together
exactly.
and work on it.
Yeah, I would say that too, but not too much space because I'm impatient. So it's like that nice balance. So again, unfortunately, please try to phrase it nicely.
Yeah.
But then the females also have to understand that, whatever our reaction is, unfortunately, due to our hormones, the way we're set up, you really have to control your emotions and then sort of become more of that subjective to objective mindset.
Okay.
And then look at it from a third party, be like, is this really worth yelling? And then potentially ruining a day
Yeah, in a relationship.
in a relationship too, right? So I always tell my friends, really pick and choose your battles, especially with your partners, because sometimes it's not worth it.
Yeah.
Like even the boyfriend would say like, I didn't say anything because it just wasn't worth it. So I think it's just a matter of having that established boundary in terms of what you value and what they value. If it's communication, which I strongly recommend having good communication,
Yeah.
learn each other's communication styles. That's what I recommend.
How many what kind of styles are out there?
Well, there's always the yelling type, the one that only thinks on themselves. So then, like, rather than what I've learned, is that don't say you did this.
I feel. Right?
Yeah, more like this action made me feel a certain way, so that's why I'm not happy right now. So moving forward, how do we fix this? And together. I should get paid for this. Therapist.
It's like therapy. Yo, that's very healthy. Oh my goodness.
But honestly, it's taken me so many years to like figure that out.
To get to that
Because we
point,
used to
right?
argue every month.
Oh,
Every
really?
month, yeah.
And
Like
then-
literally, I'm screaming, and my mom is like on the phone, and my mom woke up. And I'm like, oh no,
shoot.
yeah, oh no, it's just a loud drama, mom. It's okay. I'm just being really aggressive
In her,
with this
in her
drama.
head, she's like, oh my God.
yeah, probably,
I'm worried for my daughter.
probably,
Did you learn all these bad words?
yeah, literally, yeah. And don't use derogatory terms.
Oh, definitely.
Don't do that. Don't be like, oh, you're such a fucking asshole. Like, what the hell, dude?
Yeah.
Like, dude, grow up. Or like gaslighting. Never gaslight. That is so
Yeah.
bad. So, how could you not get that? Like, blah, blah, blah. Like, are you stupid? Like, you never want to say that.
Oh my God.
Yeah, and some people do say that, right? When they're really angry. But again, like learning to control your emotions at the heat of the moment because you're like triggered right now.
Mm-hmm.
So like get yourself to level ground. Level ground. And really, I know, and don't tell the girl calm down because they will not calm down.
Thank you. When someone-
Don't say that.
when people say, hey, relax, chill.
Oh no.
When some people say relax,
Yeah.
chill, calm down, you're just like, okay, you're just
Triggered.
pissing me off even more. now. Like,
Triggered.
you're doing the opposite. You gotta stop doing that.
I think that's gaslighting in my opinion still.
Really?
Yeah,
When
yeah,
someone
yeah,
says-
it is.
when
Yeah.
someone says, hey, relax.
Yeah.
Yeah, like the way you say it is, oh, yo, just relax. Like, are you stupid? Like, just relax.
Downplaying everything, right? Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
like, chill. It's not a big deal. It's all good.
But it's like, it's a big deal to them. So again, don't use, it's not a big deal.
My brother does that so much. It gets my nerves, man.
Do you want me to be in there to help you with
He's
communication?
just like, yo, relax. I'm like,
Yeah,
I
I
am
know.
relaxed.
Yeah.
Now I'm not
I'm
anymore.
not.
Triggered.
You see Ray holding
Well, then
Angus
relax some
back.
more.
Like, don't do it, Angus. Don't do it.
I'll be like, red flag. Don't say that. Don't say that.
So that kind of communication. So it's basically when you get in the heat of the moment, best is to step away, give it some breather, but not too long,
Not too long. Tell
then-
yourself to calm down. Don't have
Yes.
the other person tell you to calm down.
and then come back together when you're more level-headed.
Yes.
And then be able to talk how each other feel without using the you.
Yes, never
right?
use you.
And say like, this made me feel because of this
Because you
action,
did
right?
this.
Because this
then
action
it's
made me
funny.
feel way.
Okay,
yeah.
because of the action.
Yeah, this action made me made me feel a certain way. Like it made me angry because in the past this is one of my triggers. And then you kind of explain how that story, because obviously no one's gonna get mad out of nowhere. Like
Yeah.
they maybe had past trauma or some past occurrence that they just don't want to relive again because it's archived in their mind and then brings all these like memories up, right? So
Yeah.
I think everybody has triggers.
Yeah,
Just a matter of what it
definitely.
is.
But I feel a lot of people who don't know these or don't have these skills is because they're never taught, especially from their parents.
Oh my gosh.
Because the parents is mostly like the short term, right?
Right.
Whatever works the fastest, they do that, which is usually yelling.
Yeah.
So usually
Oh,
when they yell at you, you
yeah.
get scared and you kind of stop doing it. But there is no like, it's more of a band-aid.
I think that's a lot of like Asian parenting, right? It is
Yes.
that way, and that's how a lot of us grow
We
up
learn.
with like poor communication skills as well.
Oh, I
Yeah.
completely 100% agree with that.
Give a little smack on the head.
Oh gosh.
Yeah.
Which helps sometimes.
Yeah. So like, but do you feel that sometimes is better with the physical?
No.
Oh, yes. Yes.
What?
You agree?
Yes.
So I agree as
Oh,
well to
Okay.
a certain only a certain amount, because I feel because I can still remember a lot of the times when I act up when I was young, and it's because my parents didn't listen, or kids are very emotional, so sometimes they don't know how to control their emotion, so they kind of like go from 0 to 100, and it's very hard for them to bring it back down because they don't know how. So you kind of have to snap them out of it. So in order to snap them out of it, they need some kind of shock.
Oh jeez.
I'm not saying Hayden.
Like a shock
I
collar.
didn't say
That's why you wore a shock collar.
A shock. I like that. Shock. Shock.
quiet, Billy.
You see Angus with the remote button. It's like, oh, he's acting up again. Here you
No,
go.
no, the frying pan.
I don't do that for people out there. I just put this out there, okay? My parents treat me very nice. But it is like, I feel sometimes kids need
Like a quick
A little
reset.
bit discipline to remind them who.
more like what you just did, Derek. You hit the kid on the head, right? Yeah. Is that something you've done before?
No, so what I've done was be like, you try to like raise your voice a little bit, or like I feel like kids are very perceptive on the tone of your voice.
Yes.
So if you sound too nice when you're trying to like to discipline them, then they won't understand that it's a bad thing. You know, whereas whether like you don't have to yell, but you have to change the tone of your voice where
More serious.
it's more serious, and they know it's like depending on how severe it is, it's like they know it's a bad thing.
Yeah.
Because it's one of those you know, you ever see one of those like really nice teachers where they're like, oh, little Timmy, you're not supposed to do that, you know, please don't do that. And you're like, no, I always believe like that doesn't work for most kids, because it's one of those they're like, oh, she's saying it in such a nice tone.
They don't take you seriously.
Yeah,
you
they
need to be
don't take-
stern.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know,
Because-
there are
yeah.
kids that don't respond well to that either. Like, oh, you're talking really aggressively, or you raise your voice a little bit. Let's see how much you could raise, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
like I used to teach like martial arts too. So there's this one kid, I forgot his name. I really don't like this kid. And the reason why he was so spoiled is because of his dad. And the dad would bring him to this, you know, like Wing Chun when I did that. They brought him there just so it's mostly like a daycare sort of thing.
Oh my gosh.
And maybe he wants to teach the kid discipline, but the problem, the main source, whenever I see his dad, I'm just like, oh my god, it's your fault. Like, it's freaking your fault. You're the reason why the kid's like this. The dad doesn't do anything. He just sits there, and I'm like, this is your kid. So one time the kid kept hitting me. I told him to stop. So I was doing the too nice thing.
Yeah.
I was like, stop, like it hurts. Like he was actually like legit punching me to the point it hurts.
Oh.
And I was like, hey, I'm like, hey, it's okay. I'm like, hey, not gonna say it was okay. I'm like, hey, stop, like it hurts. Like kind of like, stop it, man. It's kind of hurting.
I'm gonna suplex you next.
Break your neck. So I was saying that, and the kid kept hitting me. And then later, I actually got yelled at by my Sifu, saying that it's like, you're the problem.
Oh.
You're too nice.
Yep.
You gotta be more stern.
Yep.
It's like you're enabling this
Behavior.
And then that's when I was like, oh crap, maybe I am too nice. Because I'm a very nice person. Like they're all kids, right?
Yep.
I like to be nice. It's just having a good time. But then this kid was really messing up. So we did we did sticky hands, so we like practiced. And the kid kept hitting me, and I told him, hey, stop. Like it hurts. I was being more serious. And he, you know, I guess he didn't take it seriously. I'm like, okay, let's practice then. So we practiced. and then I didn't punch him hard.
Oh.
I punch him a certain degree where he couldn't block. So it's basically like he punches me, I counter. I punch him, he counters, right? It all comes down to the reaction time and how fast he can pivot. But he couldn't pivot because I was going like a bit faster. So I kept hitting him, and then he started like, I'm like, it hurts, right? And he's like, oh, he doesn't say anything. But I could tell, like, you can tell when a kid's starting to get upset because their eyes starting to get red and they're in the sour face. So then I was like, he tried to stop, like, yeah, I took this off. Keep practicing. So I made him stood there, keep practicing for like 20 minutes. And then he was like, by the end, he was like crying while practicing. And then they're like, you're crying too much, go in the room. Sit in the room there. And then after he's like finished crying, he like comes out, I'm like, you done crying? Keep practicing. And then I'll practice again. So I basically made him practice with me for like almost an hour straight. And that was basically to the point where he didn't punch me. After that, he didn't punch me. You're like, oh, I love it. He did not punch me at all. So I feel sometimes, this is why I believe sometimes kids need a reality check.
Right.
Because they don't understand, no matter how stern you are, if you come up already passive already, the picture in their head, you're already passive. They won't change that unless something shocks them. But I don't punch kids. It was practicing. Like everyone at that martial arts studio, we all practice people get hit. But I don't like full force, like break his ribs.
The thumbnail's gonna be just Angus punching.
That's more of a test of the wake-up call. Right. But after that, the kid was much better. And then the dad saw it, he didn't say anything. And then I look at his dad, I'm like, I'm basically the dad.
So you're watching, or you're making full eye contact with the dad while kicking his kid's ass. You're like, you're next.
Super. But his dad was there and he saw. Like his dad didn't say anything because he expected us to teach his kid, which I hated it the most. Because I'm like, you're the dad. Like he listens to you, he looks up to you the most. If you react this way, or this is your behavior, he's just gonna follow it. Right? These kids are like sponges. They soak up whatever their parents do. So man, pet peeve of mine. What about that yours? I don't know how we got there.
Well, but yeah, I think that comes down to pretty much Asian parent influence. I think that's what we're trying to get.
Yes, thank you.
Yes. And then, yeah, you're right. Like, I think because our parents were raised a certain way from Asia, they have not been raised here.
They don't know any other parent.
Exactly. So that's why, to us, we think it's poor communication. But because we were born and raised here, I think it's okay to recognize differences and that we kind of improve our own communication that live here, right? And with others. And then sometimes, you have a bicker with your parents because they're not used to that Western communication. So I actually did this with my mom the other night too. It's like she was kind of getting really stubborn with like some of the pricings for our artwork. I told her like, Mom, I'm trying to converse with you because, we're trying to consult the price together. And then I don't know why she got so stubborn. She's like, well, then she was giving an attitude. And I told her, like, Mom, just letting you know, you're the artist here. I'm the one doing the business. If you're telling me that I don't have to deal with you for the pricing, that doesn't make sense to me because I respect your artwork. So I told her straight up, like, I don't like your attitude right now. I know. I told my mom.
Wait, you said that to her in Japanese or
in Japanese? Yes. I told her, like, I don't like your attitude right now. I understand you're stubborn and angry right now, but just letting you know that I do care about your artwork. So just letting you know that I understand the pricing. I'm just clarifying with you. Is that okay with you?
Wow.
And it was just, I could tell she wasn't, I'd never seen her felt so defeated by me.
Did she say anything or did she just walk away?
Oh, no.
Obviously, they walk away. You know she did. And after she walked away, right? She probably went back to her room and she's like, that's my daughter. I taught her so well. You told her I know, but gonna act cool,
and to kind of make herself not feel too bad, I did feel like cleaning, so that was clean like the kitchen because I was stressed from all those things. And I was like, look, Mom, so pretty now, right? The stainless steel appliance is so shiny. She's like, oh my gosh, how did you do this? That's all good. All good. Gotta kiss some ass sometimes.
But your mom is probably so proud. She's like, wow.
Yeah, she told me the other day too when we're in Japan. She was like, sometimes I do appreciate what you're thinking on your mind because sometimes I don't know your mind. I'm like, yeah, of course not.
Your mom?
Yeah, she said that in Japan for once. I think once parents age, they tend to say more things when you're like much younger, is what I've noticed. Yeah. So then, I don't know what conversation we had, but I remember in the past she'll be like, "Oh yeah, remember all the time when you told me that? Oh, like don't ruin my moment when I want to buy something for myself." Because you know how Asian parents are. Oh, is that cheap? Is that expensive? Like, why would you buy that for yourself?
Oh yeah.
And I'll be like, well, Mom, I'm buying it for myself. So, and with my money. So why do you have to be involved? And she totally shut up. So that's why, I don't know why she remembered that moment, I guess. And then she mentioned it during our Japan trip. But yeah, I do appreciate you speaking your mind. Because I really don't understand you sometimes. So.
I don't think I can do that with my parents.
Oh, really?
Derek, but you're relatively you're kind of like what the adult in your family though, right? You kind of like are
Not a great sense.
more the stern one.
I try to be at least, anyways. Yeah.
Because you're the older brother.
Yeah, I'm the eldest of
Yes.
3 kids, so it's I have 2 younger brothers. Yeah, I feel like parents. This might be another talk for another time, but if your parents, they tend to relax their standards a lot. If you have siblings, it just goes down the line, and like after you reach the very last one, the standards just kind of go out the window.
Yeah, totally agree. I didn't even realize what time it was. Wow, 42 minutes.
Oh,
Right here. Yeah, we're probably gonna have to end it there. Way too long, but that was really good topics. Hit that like button, subscribe, hit that notification button. On the comments, what is your most ideal traits when it comes to your partner? What do you look for? And would you buy an abandoned home in Japan? But yeah, everything is in Spotify. Everything's in we are on YouTube, we're on TikTok, IG.
Everything's on the link tree.
Everything's in the link tree. And yeah, we'll end it there. And hope everyone likes the podcast. Yeah, go on.
And be sure to follow our guest.
Yes.
Perfect.
Our links will be down below in the description.
Yeah. Yeah. I'll see everyone on the next one. Thank you. Bye.
Bye.